have so much fight footage to sift through.
Well, it's been recording, so you just gotta intro everything back.
Alright, fuck it. Hello everyone, and welcome to Modular Components. It's episode 71. I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm here with the Modular Boys of Boingo Rider.
Hi.
And Buster Corp.
Hi, I exist.
Do you really?
Unfortunately. I'm glad I exist, don't worry.
I'm glad you exist too. Keep existing. Do that for me, will you?
Yeah.
All right. And we have a special guest today. First guest episode in a little while, but it's somebody I've been wanting to get on the show for quite a while, but I've been holding off for just the right occasion. He is a man who has worked in the animation industry, the American Space Program, and is currently teaching high school math. He is the creator, writer, director, stunt coordinator, lead cameraman, editor, and star of the ongoing YouTube Power Rangers review series / fan film that is about to celebrate its 10-year anniversary, Database Rangers Power Reviews, who also just so happens to be a friend of the channel, my mentor, and all-around great guy, Jacob Database Ranger Brode.
Greetings, Ranger fans. Pleasure to see you all. The nature of my existence has been of some debate for almost 100 episodes now, something like that.
That's true, and we got quite a bit of that in the most recent episode, which I was just rewatching last night, and ooh, there's some parts of that episode that hit real hard. I love it.
I'm glad. It's our big lead into the finale. That one, I still can't believe how long the Forever Red review ended up running. I was not expecting
when
that.
I was catching up last night, I was just looking at the episodes, and they're mostly 20 minutes each. And then I just went to the Forever Red review, and I'm like, this is taking a bit. And I'm like, 40 minutes, and I'm like, whoa.
There's just so much to say about Forever Red. I did not realize how long a script I'd written until I actually was editing it. I'm like, why am I still editing this? Why aren't I done yet? It's 45 minutes. What was that?
It's a crazy episode because there's not many episodes within the franchise that you can say it's both one of the most popular and actually one of the best.
It's pretty fantastic, and there's just so much to analyze and discuss with regards to the episode because it's such a nexus of so many different bits of continuity that you can just go on about it forever, which I pretty much did.
Yeah,
Even
and I mean, you put it in the
aspect.
perfect place in the show, using it as a plot device to help Zordon get his memories back.
I was so glad to be able to finally do that. It's so great to finally be able to do these different plot points that have been in my head for the better part of a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to do this as the lead into the finale, which I really did want for the finale to hit on the 10-year anniversary, and unfortunately life just kind of got in the way. But I do have some stuff coming for the 10-year anniversary. It is going to be giving you a little bit of a taste of what to expect for the finale.
You're gonna have a sizzle reel go up?
Something like that. It's not going to be a sizzle reel per se. It is instead going to be a special video in a format that I have not done as a formal video before. That I think will just be a fun little the video itself that I'm doing for the anniversary is not huge, but it is going to give some tastes of the finale, and that's what I'm really working on, is making sure that footage is ready to go, because how much I show in the anniversary video is entirely dependent upon how much I finish.
Oh wow. Always down to the wire with you, it seems.
You'd think after this has been planned out across the course of a decade, it wouldn't always be to the wire, but somehow life always finds a way to make this take longer than I have planned.
Go ahead, Born.
No, it's the Scotty thing, because I did this for forever ago. You always plan for double the amount of time you think it takes for anything you do.
Yeah.
That way you have more time if you need it, but if you get it time in the timeline you thought you would have, you look like a genius because you got it done ahead of time.
And meanwhile, everything I'm doing takes 5 times as long as planned. So I will remind you, this is the 10-year anniversary, and I am trying to start the year 3 finale. I feel like that the fact that I'm technically still in year 3 at the 10-year anniversary says a lot about how things have unfolded.
I mean, Mystery Science Theater really got it right. Space is warped and time is bendable.
It's very true.
And actually, like, I want to like kind of comment like my thoughts on the show, because I know Voigo and Vac have done it on this channel before, and I haven't really done it yet. But like, I like, speaking of like Space Warp Time is Bendable, I love how you kind of like to like use those hiatuses to a storytelling and critiquing advantage. Like to like kind of like comment about where the franchise is now, like at the time, or just make jokes about the hiatuses and just like, oh yeah, Dino Charge is happening. I hope it doesn't end like this, or
Yes.
like you really work with work with whatever punches are thrown to you, especially in year 3 when it's like that's the entire plot. Space is warped and time is bendable. Really well.
Thank you.
And I mean, there's plot details that like have come up in some of the most recent episodes that you say the show's been planned out for the better part of 10 years. But there's things in it where it's like, I watch that and I'm like, how could he have possibly known? He has to have changed that on the fly. Like the Ranger keys in the legendary battle being a trap, that being a big reveal in the latest episode.
Oh, that's been in mind basically since I want to say since shortly after the legendary battle episode came out.
Yeah, but I was saying like you started during Samurai.
Yes. No, I didn't have quite that level planned out. I knew what the primary conflict of the series was going to be. I knew the overall shape of the series. I knew how it was all going to end, but the details of how certain things were going to come about, I hadn't fully crystallized until I got to certain points in the planning.
Okay.
So like the Ranger Key aspect of the story, that was something that came down to, okay, I know what the villain's plan is in a general sense. How is the villain executing their plan? And so I want to say I was working out which episodes were going to go into year 3 as I had finished scripting year 2, and I was working on scripting and I was starting to do the outlines for year 3. That was when that the Ranger Key ploy crystallized in my head. I'm like, oh, this is how that comes together. Like the main story of the show has basically been in place from the beginning, but details like the summer saga of year 2, where we all went to different dimensions, and that was where Guy got his training from Master Gel, and Mayo got her magic tablet. Those elements were things that came up after I'd finished year 1, and I was trying to think, okay, how do I bridge the story from the introduction of T Omega over to the evil database arc? And I realized that in order for them to bridge properly, I needed to be able to put the other characters on a level with database. Not quite the same level in terms of physical fighting ability, but to a level where it would be reasonable for them to deal with an evil Phantom Rain.
Yeah, and actually, like to add on to that, like one of my favorite aspects of this as like a pure Power Rangers fan film is how it kind of because like half the series you don't know database is the Phantom Ranger, even though that's like a big part of the series identity at this point. But like for half the series and even like up to now, it's kind of about the everyday people, like the side cast mostly. It's about kind of like the people who like help put the Power Rangers like together, like either like side characters, like the characters that would normally be like one-off or goofy characters, are kind of like driving the plot of this show.
Yes, that was always kind of a big thrust of the story, that I wanted it to be the big adventure happening on the outskirts of the Power Rangers multiverse. It's one of the reasons that I really liked the idea of Guy as a character, because he's a member of Hexagon, which is an organization that's never actually referenced in the show, was only thought of in development materials. And the idea that this organization is made up of civilians behind the scenes operating to allow for the Power Rangers to do their jobs smoothly. I thought would be a really fun idea to have one of those characters take center stage as a supporting part of this cast.
Yeah, because Guy's actually like probably one of my favorite. Like I really like seeing him around. Like probably one of the most out of all the side characters because like his development is just like it's like it's a very like simple. It's a very like archetypical like like kind of douche to kind of friend, but it's a really good, well done douche to friend type beat.
And I mean, he gets some of the best lines in the show. I'll never forget that bubble wrap is not edible.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, very deadpan expression. The actor does like a wonderful job. And like I know you say like you got most of like the actors that are used here from like the theater background, and like honestly, a lot of like the acting does remind me of like stage plays in a good way. And like I honestly think that background really does help it put like a step above the usual Power Rangers like fan film review show.
I appreciate that, and really just the inclusion of Guy as a character outside of just the concept. I just really like working with Dave. He's been one of my best friends since high school. Like, and it's always entertaining to me for him to be playing such a very antisocial person, because if you were to ever meet Dave in real life, he is the nicest person I know. And like, I don't really associate with not nice people in general. Dave is an unreasonably good person. Like,
Aw.
the major plot point of, Database having borrowed Guy's camera was something that hadn't originally been planned to be such a major part of the series in its earliest conception, but I included because I thought it would be funny, because I filmed the entire first half of the series on a camera I borrowed from Dave.
See, now that you're saying he's such a nice guy.
Camera. It just died. That's the only reason that I stopped using it.
Now that you're saying he's such a nice guy, though, like you got me thinking you guys have to do something unscripted together so people can see his real personality.
Like you want to see a small taste of like Dave's like I was just doing the commentary for episode 92 just last night. And that's, the review of And Action. And I sneak in that little blooper reel, intercut with the RPM bloopers. And there's that one shot that I just really wanted to include of just, you remember from the year 3 premiere where the Morpotsners gave Guy that little stuffed fox saying, "It's Guy Fawkes Day." and I just have that little brief clip in the blooper reel of Dave just cuddling the little stuffed fox.
That's great. I do remember that, yeah.
And actually, if you do want to, and another clip that actually does give you a better idea of Dave's personality would probably be from episode 87, where we see Guy's memory of checking in on the alternate version of himself, who has like a wife and child, and is like this great family man. Like that's Dave. Dave is he's got 2 kids at home. He's absolute sweetheart. Like I don't think that I've heard Dave raise his voice to anyone without being directed to do so for a part.
That's not something you can say of many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Obviously, I can't speak to everybody's behavior 100% of the time. That's just been in the 20 plus years that I've known Dave. Like, he'll lend you something, not worry about giving it back, about getting it back, just being happy that it's getting used because he wasn't using it otherwise. Things like that.
Now, speaking of IRL stuff and being a family man, you recently moved into a house
yes.
for the first time as a family, and I haven't talked to you since before that happened. So I was wondering if we could get a bit of a life update, how that's going, because I think a lot of people still don't know that, like, you haven't even lived in the apartment from the show in, like, almost 5 years.
It's actually been more than 5 years. We moved out of that apartment in fall of 2016.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
That was and so I had to rush to make sure that I had everything written that needed to be filmed in that apartment before he moved out of the apartment. So there's still footage that hasn't been seen yet that I
Oh.
shot in 2016.
Yeah, actually, because I was gonna actually also ask about that, where it's like there's like so many like pickup shots you have to do, because there was like a Power Morphicon 2016 episode that came out in like 2019, I think.
Yes.
And it was like, Vac is in it, I think. I couldn't find him on my recent watch through. I don't know what happened
Rebeard
there.
vacuuminator. The most
that
worst
was from
vacuuminator.
episode. That was from episode 94.
Yeah.
Which actually came out last year.
Whoa.
So that was 5 years after the point.
Yeah, it just amazes me how much you write ahead of time of this footage that won't be seen for like years.
I mean, it wasn't intended for it to take years for me to release, but I had planned out the series to its conclusion. By the time that I was, let's see, I was. When did I start writing the year 3? I started writing year 3 back in spring of 2015, I believe. And year 3 didn't actually. I wasn't able to get it out until fall of 2017. So, like, yes, I did write things in advance, years in advance. It just was never intended to take that long. It's just
Sorry.
But you also have to still
added.
keep all of that straight in your head for while you're making other scenes. I mean,
Oh yeah,
there's some really complicated stuff you had to explain in the most recent episode. I forget what exact moment it is, but I know there was one moment in my head where you just rattled off like 10 different things to Zordon in one speech, and I was like, does he have a flow chart or something? How did he keep that straight for the script?
Oh, there's one bit in there I know where I'm talking to Zordon and I make mention of Dr. K. I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask K about that later. And Zordon replies with K? And I'm like, oh, she's my roommate / co-host in my YouTube series. And I literally have a minute-long explanation of K's backstory and my backstory with K. It goes on for a full minute. Me talking in the Phantom Ranger helmet.
That's probably what it was, yeah.
I just realized that episode, the most recent episode at the time of recording, that's basically just the equivalent of like a Power Ranger show, like doing a clip show before the finale.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. Although I didn't actually end up doing clips, I did have characters recap a lot of important plot points.
Yeah.
But at the end of that minute-long monologue, Zordon just replies with, "That was a very long answer to a very short question."
That
the
is
question is literally the letter K with a question mark.
That is kind of DRPR in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, like very long answers to short lore questions, but like in a good way.
I mean, we've spent nearly 100 episodes now answering the question people had from the very first episode, which is, why does this random fanboy have Dr. K in his apartment?
Oh yeah.
But getting back to my original question there, how is the new house treating you, sir?
Oh, it's been doing well. I think that emotionally the house is fine with us. It is. We have not gathered any malevolent vibes, so
no
that's
ghosts
good.
yet.
Not as of yet.
Well, October is here.
Yeah, we have found out that apparently our house does have a little bit of a reputation for going big on Halloween, so we did have to invest in a large inflatable spider.
You could always get a giant skeleton from Home Depot.
Yeah, this is true. You can get really big skeletons at Home Depot. But yeah, we need to maintain the legacy of the spider house. But no, the house has been great. We just haven't had time to like do so many things.
The legacy of the spider house sounds like the name of a YA novel. I'm sorry.
Either that or something by Dan Slott.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely the subtitle for Dan Slott's new fucking run. Jesus Christ.
Oh, did you actually read that?
I skimmed it.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
I am honestly like 10 years behind on Spider-Man comics. I have no idea what's going on at this point.
The current run is aggressively okay.
Spencer retconned since past.
Okay. That seems appropriate.
It's long overdue.
Yeah.
And it seemed
don't
like
think
he was
anybody would
going to
do it.
reinstate the marriage, and then editorial stepped in and was like, yeah, your run's done, buddy.
They keep going right up to that border, right up to the edge of that, and then
Yeah. But I don't care. I bought the Renew Your Vows 2-pack. Spider-Man
Yeah, I
and MJ
saw.
are still married in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got so tired of Spider-Man never being allowed to grow up. Like
Yeah.
every time he graduates high school now, they reboot it.
Especially frustrating, like, now, because we have Miles, who could function as the high school Spider-Man, while the, like, classic Spider-Man can be a bit more, like doing the adult stuff. It's like, you have the thing, you have the thing to appease both audiences, just do it!
You have your cake, now eat it!
They have
I grew up
sport.
with the Spider-Man I grew up with was during the Clone Saga when Spider-Man was married and expecting a kid. Like, to me, that was my Spider-Man. He was someone a little bit older, a little bit more mature, being a family man.
Legit.
And I didn't grow up with high school Spider-Man.
Anybody who grew up with high school Spider-Man are dying now.
Oh no!
Unless they read
everybody's got high
Bendis'
school Spider-Man.
Ultimate.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But
616.
it feels like everybody's now grown up with high school Spider-Man because we've had Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, the Tom Holland movies.
Speaking of which, you still haven't watched No Way Home, have you?
I still haven't seen any of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
They're good. Well, two of them are good.
Here's the thing.
One of them's
I
okay.
do want to eventually. I think I would like to eventually see No Way Home because they did do the one thing that I wanted to do, which was bring back Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, which I want to see because Andrew Garfield was the best live-action Spider-Man to date.
But they did give him good meat in that movie.
Yeah,
to my understanding, I've heard murmurings that they do him justice.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Which he deserves.
You gotta think of the Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man movies less as like they're trying to make brand new Spider-Man movies, and it's more of like this is Marvel team up.
Yeah, it kind of do be that way, which I kind of hope the new animated series they're making kind of fills in that gap.
But like, no, on just like the whole thing of like, oh, they have they have 4 Spider-Men that they can do every single iteration of Peter Parker's like general vibe that anybody would want.
Yeah, exactly.
You have Miles for the high school teenage drama stuff. You have Ben Reilly, who can easily slot into adult guy trying to make his way through life and failing at every corner. You have Kane, who can easily just be the Avenger Spider-Man. And you have Peter, who can just be the happy dude who has a family life and is married and just tries to be a good dude.
Yeah.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Boingo should be the new editor-in-chief of Marvel.
Yeah,
I was so angry when the Amazing Spider-Man movies ended and they decided to reboot for Spider-Man for the MCU. It took me a long time to move past that.
We're the two hipsters, you and me, Jake, who were actually mad about it back in 2014.
Yeah,
and exactly. I actually believe you guys are mad about it than like half of Twitter.
Like 2014, like I walked out of Amazing, and I am not ashamed to say this. I walked out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 going, finally, the Spider-Man movie I've been waiting for. And so many people just lump so much disrespect on that movie. I'm like, no, this is the first one to get Spider-Man right.
Look, that movie's not perfect, but there are scenes in that movie that just instantly drive me to tears because they're so good.
It's got flaws, but it nailed the character of Spider-Man to a degree that no other Spider-Man movie had for me before. Tobey Maguire never really hit as Spider-Man for me. He didn't have the right vibes. He didn't have the right Spider-Man attitude. He was fine as a early Spider-Man Peter Parker, where, he's the very nerdy Peter Parker as he is at the beginning, but he never got to the snarky Spider-Man, that's who I think of as Spider-Man. But Andrew Garfield got the humor of it and the attitude, and just it felt right. Like, I see Spider-Man with a fireman's hat and a fire hose. I'm like, yeah, that is totally something Spider-Man would do. Yes, good. The little heel click when he pranked those two guys to buy Gwen Stacy time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the Batman problem, where like you look at all the different versions of Batman, and you can point at like, you're a good Bruce Wayne, but a bad Batman. You're a better Batman, worse Bruce Wayne. And I don't think it wasn't until like Robert Pattinson where it's like, that's a beautiful synthesis of Batman, Bruce Wayne, just all together.
Yeah. That was a good movie. I hated the only reason I still like hold a grudge against the new Batman movie is because it made me cry near the end, but then it did like something super stupid that like didn't even affect the story of the movie, and I just like you took it away. I was crying and you made me feel like betrayed. It's a backstab.
I would love to discuss that further, but I think Jake also hasn't seen that.
Yeah.
No, I've actually seen the Batman.
Oh, cool. Okay, Buster, what made you mad?
I saw it on stream.
Joker cameo. That felt like such a backstab, man.
You just couldn't deal with the Joker cameo.
Yeah, I should have known.
You couldn't deal with the most obvious thing that they're gonna fucking plant in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, at least just freaking Batman Begins it and have it like just be a card.
I agree that he's overexposed, but now that they've done that, and I know they kind of set up like, oh, the sequel is going to be him and Riddler breaking out and getting their revenge. I want this whole trilogy to be Joker just is in Arkham and we get one scene of him and Batman talking every movie.
Yeah, that's my ideal scenario.
He's Batman's Hannibal Lecter.
As the Hannibal Lecter character.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. But the reason I brought Batman up is I think the versions of Spider-Man, one's a better Peter Parker than the Spider-Man, one's a better Spider-Man than a Peter Parker, and like I think Tom Holland gets a good mix, but it's a good mix of each, but doesn't reach the highs of the others.
Yeah, Jack of all trades, master of none.
Like I feel like I have no issues with Tom Holland's performance. I think that he's doing a great job with the character that he's been given. It's just the character that they have created is not the Spider-Man that I'm looking to see.
That's a good way to put it.
You know,
he's very much Bendis Spider-Man.
The Tony Stark fanboy character, you know, where Iron Man is almost a father figure to Spider-Man, is not the Spider-Man that I grew up with, who was a far more independent hero, who was just kind of struggling on his own, and putting him under the wing of Tony Stark take away a lot of that sort of working man superhero side to things.
I always kind of
you will definitely like Far From Home then.
Yeah, I don't think they bring up Tony at all in Far From Home. I mean, they have to stay with Happy for a while, but there's no like mention of Tony.
Well, I mean, the previews gave me the impression that Far From Home was, to at least some extent, him learning to operate outside of the shadow of Iron Man's death.
Yeah.
That was at least what, you know, because he still had like the Iron Spider suit at the beginning of it, to my understanding. And other things like that, not to mention various connections to Stark Industries. I still haven't seen the movie, so I can only speak to so much. But
you're pretty close. You're pretty close.
I get the impression that No Way Home is the first one to be fully divorced from that Iron Man shadow. And I don't have a problem with Iron Man. Obviously, I thought that Robert Downey Jr. was excellent as Iron Man. I don't think anyone disputes that. And they have fine chemistry together, and the father-son relationship they have is very cute. It's just one that, for me, subverts a lot of what I enjoy about the character of Spider-Man, which is that relatability.
See, I always took like the whole Iron Man thing of basically it's like, what if we did Spider-Man 1, but they actually like work together instead of like Spider-Man number 1, the original comic back in the 60s.
Yeah, where he tried to join the Fantastic. No, he tried to join the Fantastic. Yeah,
he tried to join the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four laughed in his face. Is like, we're not a job, buddy. We're a nonprofit. And I was just thinking, like, the whole thing with Iron Man is just he runs into a rich person who can help him out, and he goes like, "Yeah, sure, I can help you out. Let me help you."
yeah, it feels a little bit like if, Reed Richards had basically adopted Spider-Man in that first issue. Which is an interesting take on it that I hadn't actually thought about before. And yeah, it is sort of that big what if, Reed Richards had actually taken Peter Parker under his wing. But Reed Richards apparently is not interested in that sort of thing, and Tony Stark, I guess, is.
Yeah.
Tony Stark has the ego to go like, I can make this guy a good hero.
Wait, wasn't this supposed to be about Power Rangers?
It was. Okay. So let's.
You were asking me about my house, and I mentioned an inflatable spider, and we got into Robert Pattinson as Batman.
This is how conversations amongst nerds work. All right, we've established this on this show. But let's switch gears. Yeah, let's get back to. Hey, let's talk a little bit about PulseCon, because I don't know if you've shared too much of your thoughts on that. First and foremost, I think we need to. This is a question that I knew I was going to have to ask at some point tonight, because I think the entire world is burning to know the answer. Jacob Brode, will you be pre-ordering the Zap Astro Megazord, or am I going to have to pre-order it for you?
I mean, if you're offering, I've really scaled back on collecting things, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I know.
I would love to have it, but I'm also like, do I want to spend money on that right now, right after having bought a house, and while we're still trying to make sure that we've. Right now we're in that stage where we're still like repainting rooms and everything, and making sure that we're good on daycare and stuff like that. It's not like we're like super strapped or anything. It's just we're at that tighter point where we're trying to keep it to the essentials, because we just had literally the biggest purchase of our lives.
Yeah.
So I did not jump on that pre-order because I am a person who has an almost regrettable level of self-restraint. Otherwise,
better self-restraint than like Unga Bunga.
I still remember your biggest purchase at PMC the one year I went was copies of the scripts for SPD's premiere from Greg Aronowitz.
Yeah, because it's Greg Aronowitz. I felt like I felt compelled to on that front.
How much was it?
It wasn't expensive. It was like, I honestly don't remember.
Oh,
I don't remember spending much.
I mean, that was like what, 6 years ago? 2016 to now?
Yeah. 2016 was 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that I spent more than $50.
Yeah.
It seems like $30-$40 purchase.
Yeah, and I mean, all that being said, the Astro Megazord isn't supposed to start shipping until April of next year, so you have plenty of time to change your mind.
Yeah, that's true. It's going for what was it, 160?
166 plus shipping.
Yeah,
but I think most sites like Entertainment Earth has free shipping for it, because they do that on orders above $100.
But yeah, I feel like I'm derelict in my duties as a Power Rangers fan, that I haven't been collecting toys much in recent years.
You haven't bought toys. You haven't fed the machine. Throw your money into Bandai's gaping maw.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not sure if you're like more collector or kids line. For the kids line, they've kind of been scaling back. Like, they haven't done every Dino Fury Megazord, and we just ended Dino Fury. The way they've handled the basic figures is weird. There's not, like, as people have been like saying, oh, Bandai of America would have done it, and they're basing it off Dino Charge, and that was like the 1 year Bandai of America was like Kino. Like, they forgot that Ninja Steel was beforehand, and the Ninja Steel toy line was, I'd argue, worse in supply than Dino Fury's toy line. I mean, even if with the low supply of Dino Fury's toy line, I think all the toys are great. So, yeah,
I think it's just a greater. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, part of it is that for so many years, for like 15 years, Megazord's $40. Megazord's just $40. That's just how much a Megazord is.
Yeah.
And I haven't really fully adjusted the expectations of my wallet for this new era that we're in, where it's like, oh, you want 5 Zords? That's going to cost you over 100.
And I think it's more of the Sentai they're adapting than like the. Like,
well, I feel like they finally have attempted to regain the level of quality that they had in like the earlier days to some extent.
Yeah, especially the mobility.
The way they were keeping at $40 was just by making the Zords worse and worse.
Yeah,
for a number of years.
And like I have the Dino Fury Megazord, at least the Red Zord, and it's amazing.
I mean, that's
those things
the
look
thing
solid.
with Hasbro is like they are very much a company of we want to make the best product possible, but we're also going to charge you as much as it costs to do that. And oil and shipping for products like toys has just increasingly gone up and up over the last like decade and a half.
Inflation is wild. And I'm still amazed that it took them so long to release the Beast Morphers Zords.
Yeah.
And they never released the Beast X King Megazord.
Yeah, especially
like, that never happened.
Morpher. That was like the Morpher of season 2 was based around like because like every season has a Morpher toy that was based around the Lion. So like
I was big into Zords for a good long while, and then during Beast Morphers, like I'm so used to the Megazord coming out right before the show comes out, and then it was like it took the entire first season before they finally released the 5 Zords, and then they didn't release any Zords during the second season, which is wild to me. To go an entire season without releasing a new Zord, that's never happened.
I have had a theory about that, which is that I think Hasbro wanted to redesign not necessarily the way the Zords look, but like how they function from the ground up and make new molds. And that took all that time of the first season happening. And then they went, oh, people got upset at us for doing that because it took so long. But we want to keep doing that. We want to keep improving on the Bandai molds. So let's just not do anything from Beast Morphers and get a head start on Dino Fury.
But then even with Dino Fury, how long did it take for the Megazords to come out there?
Like till after the hiatus.
Exactly. Like they were still months behind when you would normally expect the big push for the merchandise to be. And that was shocking to me.
Yeah, that could also be a COVID thing because the Hasbro just bought their season started.
That is fair.
I also just Hasbro just is a functionally different company than Bandai of America. I keep saying this like every other week, every other month on Twitter, but like Bandai of America's main priority was Power Rangers. Hasbro has like 50 other priorities, and Power Rangers is like B property for them. Transformers is their A property. Although it's starting to seem like they're trying to push Power Rangers as an A property.
Transformers, Marvel, G.I. Joe, I would say, is like slowly climbing out of B back into an A.
Yeah.
I was just surprised at how much more focus there's been on the Lightning Collection compared to
that's a Hasbro thing. That's a 100% Hasbro
I think it's because that was so easy for them, again, with things like Marvel Legends, to just go like, oh, Power Rangers in the 6-inch format, improve on the articulation schemes a little bit from what we've already been doing. Yeah, we can do that. Done.
But it's more so just like
it's also what Hasbro's known for.
When Hasbro bought Power Rangers, I may not be as much in the loop as you guys when it comes to the toy companies, but for me, I'm like, oh, Hasbro, oh, the Transformers people, oh, we're going to have amazing Zords. And then we had to wait so long for the Zords.
You're not the only one. Like, I don't mean to knock you, but everybody I follow who's a Power Rangers casual and is more into Transformers was like, oh, finally, there's going to be Megazord toys that don't feel like they were designed in the 80s.
And I feel like the Astro Megazord is the first one that I've really seen that really hits that expectation that I was hoping to see from Hasbro when they bought the franchise 3-4 years ago.
I mean, Dino and Dragon were a little bit of an improvement, but this feels like it's actually exactly what you'd want that toy to be if it were made now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called it the most exciting Power Rangers reveal on our Tokusatsu podcast, because Hasbro Power Rangers reveal specifically, because it's just well, that's what people. I said it like in that podcast. That's what people wanted, and I do realize why it took a while. They can't. They want to make their own versions of the profitable Bandai MMPR stuff, but they can't just simply reissue those toys. So they're like, we got to make our own versions, and we got to make them better. So we had like a few years of MMPR, but now it's like we're starting, especially with the 30th anniversary, we're starting to climb out. Like, of course, there's still going to be MMPR Legacy merch, and I've kind of made my peace with that. But there's just as much like SPD figures coming out, like freaking monster.
The Zap Megazord, the classic Mighty Morphin Megazord, like that one had such a barrier to really making an impact because there's been so many iterations of that Zord, and frankly, like even though all I have is like a very old, like I think knockoff version of the Megazord.
Might have been like 2010.
No, it's older than that. I got this in Chinatown when I was in like high school. This was like we were visiting New York City and we saw this at some little shop in Chinatown, and I'm just like, it's the original Megazord. I never managed to get that, and it comes with it came with the Dragon Zord. I'm like, I'm gonna get that, and it's fine if it's cheap plastic. It's clearly not the actual original Megazord. It came in a giant blister pack.
Oh,
but it was a full-sized, Mega Dragon Zord in a blister pack, which
that's
was hilarious.
Amazing.
So that's the Megazord that I have. But honestly, I've seen pictures online of the Soul Chijoken Megazord, Daijujin, and that I feel like that thing is. I don't think I've seen any American release top that in terms of just the overall.
Oh no, it looks better.
Quality.
And I think that's partially because it's like another $100 more than the Zap Zord.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's when you have something that's that level of like a prestige line for that specific product, and nothing you come out with is going to really hit at that same level, I think.
No. I also think there's just a problem with the Dino Megazord and 5 Zord designs in general of like, there's only so much you can improve on those designs and give them more articulation before you start to kind of destroy the original look. Like, we just got that Flame Toys Megazord that's ultra stylized but is crazy articulated.
Yeah, that thing looks super cool. If I'm thinking of what you think of what you're referencing.
Yeah, I legitimately would love to have that thing. It's actually way too rich for my blood. Yeah. But I immediately saw it and I went, wow, that articulation is super impressive. It's probably only because it's stylized. Like, I would love a new SPD Megazord or a new Dino Thunder Megazord because those are my childhood Megazords.
Yeah, I've got both of those from Bandai, and those are honestly the original releases of both of those were great, I thought.
Yeah, and they look great from all the reviews I've seen, but like, even if we got them in Zap, I don't know if the articulation would be all that much improved. Maybe the Dino Thunder one, because it's really only 2 Zords contributing to the body, but it is still, I don't think it would be a massive improvement like the Astro Megazord seems to be, because the Astro Megazord is essentially just a body that curls up into a ball and then a head that plugs onto it.
I mean, the Astro, I think there are several things that set the Astro Megazord apart with this new version that's coming out. It's the scale of it is massive, which really that hits hard. Mm-hmm. It's got the articulation with the swappable hands and everything, and the detail on the cockpits. The fact that you can open up the chest and see the bridge of the mega ship that I know from the show, that is like the biggest selling point for me. It's like, because that adds that level of like immersion in the playability. It's like, oh, I can actually imagine the Rangers actually in this to a degree that I could not with other Zord.
And I feel like that's something they want to be a line-wide gimmick, because it was there for the Dino Megazord, but I was one of those people who was constantly looking at that with the Dino Megazord and going, the cockpit for the Dino Megazord isn't in the head, it's in the chest!
No, wait. No, the cockpit of the Dino Megazord... No, that isn't...
It isn't the head. That's the Thunder Megazord.
I thought it was in the chest plate, like the triangles on the chest are supposed to be a window.
That's actually something that I always kind of thought too growing up. But as I got older, and I looked at the detailing a little bit more, I realized that it is actually the face just without the eyes.
Okay, well, that is a misconception I have had my entire life.
Yeah,
that you guys have
if you look at an image of it, you can see.
Oh, had me looking like a jackass. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, if you actually look at it though, you can see like the silver under the silver underneath. That's the faceplate of the Megazord. You can see that we have that line along the top that dips down to form the brow. Like if you were to bring up a picture of it right now, I'm like I just brought a picture to double check. You can suddenly see like, oh, that's its face. Even the little bit of glass you can see is actually forming the nose. It's just it didn't connect growing up because the eyes aren't there.
Yeah, no shit, you're right.
It's weird,
I always
right?
assumed because of how long the window is that it was that chest plate.
Yeah.
But no, I can see the shape there.
Yeah, like when you pay attention to the actual details, it's like, oh no, wait.
Yeah.
That's the nose. That's not the triangles from the chest plate.
I'm not even mad or embarrassed about this revelation, by the way. I'm genuinely delighted that I understand this now.
Yeah. Now, the Thunder Megazord did
You've made
have
that
the
toy a
cockpit
little
in the
better
chest.
for me, Jake.
What was that?
You've made that toy a little better for me, Jake.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I also love that the shuttle also has a cockpit. For the Astro Megazord. I love they have both. That's just so they can be in the bridge of the megaship when it's in megaship mode. They can be in the actual cockpit for the Megazord. That honestly, just give us a little Alpha 5 that could just go in the or Alpha 6 that goes into the bridge
Delta Megazord
while they're. Ooh, that would be fun.
There's rumors of a Delta Megazord, and one of the people who has contacts at Hasbro has said it's all but confirmed.
Oh, that's gonna be nice to have. Oh man, I'm now imagining just the size of an Astro Delta Megazord at that scale.
Mm-hmm.
That thing. Oh,
I hope they also do Mega Voyager sooner than later.
That at that point, that's going to be nearly the size of my child.
Also, like, because Cosmic Fury is also the big thing at PulseCon. Like, you got any takes on that?
I mean, I love Q Ranger. I'm looking forward to seeing how they adapt it. I've been trying to follow Simon Bennett's
to see
Twitter
Zed's
comments.
new form.
Yeah, Don Armagay, baby.
Apparently he said they're making use. They're cherry picking footage from 13 episodes of Q Ranger.
Huh.
Very interested in seeing which 13 episodes they choose.
Probably like the beginning and ending are like the big ones. I'm guessing because they showed footage from the first mecha battle.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
guessing,
you'd
like,
expect that, but at the same time, it's like, are they going to make use of that many Zords?
Well, like, honestly, I don't really see like that being like a big deal because I just just shilling all the Zords because SSS Gridman and SSS Dynazon are both each 12 episode shows, and there's like a new mecha combination every episode. I can easily see
That's also
like,
animation.
Well,
yeah,
the thing is
but like,
with,
it's a like similar format, storytelling format.
with Cosmic Fury, though, there's only going to be 10 episodes.
Yeah, like you can just like for me, it's like they could each like the ongoing plot will just like they either have all the Zords and it'll be like let's use this one for this fight and then like
Different combination every episode and like.
Well, here's the thing.
If Tarek doesn't pilot Ryu Commander's Zord, I'm gonna be mad.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, there's also the question: Are they even gonna bother including Ryu Commander's Zord or the Orion Megazord they have later on? I'm forgetting the exact name of it.
Orion Battler.
Orion what? What was it? Battler.
Yeah, they can easily just cut Megazords too if they want. Which like I know some people might be pissed at, but if it's better for the freaking like pacing, I guess.
But it's only 10 episodes. That's not a lot of space. You could just use the stuff from the first 13 episodes of Q Ranger, and you wouldn't have to worry about like any of the bonus Zords from the second half of the series.
Yeah, and I mean, you could perfectly cut the Orion Battler, and nothing of real value would be lost because I don't think it had really any combinations.
I already forgot that Zord existed, and I love Cute Ranger.
And like that toy is basically just a glorified sound box. It's a new thing you can plug Q-Tamas into and get all these sounds from the show.
Yeah.
I kind of do hope, like, at least Ryu Commander will, like, show up. And,
Here's
like,
the thing. Go.
No, you were saying. I finished.
Well, you talked in like 45 minutes. Go.
Here's the thing I've just been thinking about with Cosmic Fury. Nothing says they can't do another season of it.
That is true. There's just nothing currently planned.
There's nothing currently planned or confirmed.
Yeah.
They that's the thing. It's also they did say they're going to be using a lot more like American footage. Well, American footage.
Right. Yeah.
So
I have no idea what to expect past the 30th season, because honestly, the fact that it's only 10 episodes, they're reusing the old cast.
There's been rumors of a reboot for like 5 years now.
Yeah, it feels like something that may be a swan song to how the show has been. That can be used to transition into the new format. I don't know.
May I propose a concept that kind of might put that into context?
Sure.
Alien Rangers.
Yeah. It's a 10 episode series that transitioned into a whole new phase of the franchise. I think I made that comparison to somebody else the other day. How it felt very fitting that on the 30th season of on the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin, we're having it wrap with a 10 episode miniseries.
New version of Alien Rangers, and Billy's coming back.
Yeah.
Apparently Billy and like Zach are coming for something completely different. At least that's what everyone's saying.
I believe it's going to be special included within the season, is my understanding.
More is just the point of Billy's departure is heavily associated with the Alien Rangers.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's coming back and what is essentially a spiritual successor to that little concept, that little era, is interesting.
We got Lord Zed back as a villain too. Like there's so many parallels with Alien Ranger.
Yeah. Hopefully less racism.
Fair.
I mean, I haven't noticed any racism in Dino Fury unless there's something you want to talk about right now, Buster.
No, less racism in Alien Ranger parallels. I don't want them to be like any like stereotypical like Native American or
they kind of tried, but yeah, it's definitely dated.
Yeah. Oh god, don't.
One thing that I hated large chunks of Zeo and Alien Rangers, and I don't blame them for it, but like I don't know. I'm desensitized to it.
I might have been a bit too harsh on Zeo. Might have been. But also that plotline sucked.
One thing that I find actually kind of fascinating about the whole Tommy's Native American background story arc is that that arc was largely written by Mark Litton, who actually did grow up on a Native American reservation for at least for a portion of his childhood, at least.
I did not know that.
That was sort of a fascinating bit of context I got from him when I was doing my big charity live streams. It wasn't that he and his family were Native Americans, just that he had lived on a Native American reservation, him and his brother, for some time. So
even though I still hate those episodes, I feel a bit bad.
No, here's the thing. Representation in like that time period, the 90s and like late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the best way I can always look at it is it's like, it's very well intentioned. Boy, did you miss the mark.
Yeah. And I felt like, it did hit on some tropes that felt to a certain extent othering or tokenizing. But it was at least intended with respect and was something beyond a level of representation we've really been seeing at that stage in media.
I can understand.
It's the trope fair for its day, I guess.
And then Rocky took his tamales and got out of here.
Yeah. Season to remember is an episode to remember.
I unironically love that episode, but I know how bad parts of it are.
That was such a wacky episode to kick off year 3 with. It really was. I went back and forth on, is this really the episode I want to start year 3 on? Yeah, I'm going to go for it because I wanted to do a holiday episode, and I felt like it wouldn't be appropriate to end year 2 on a holiday episode, so I had to start year 3 with a holiday episode, and it had to be that one, and it ended up working.
It's also kind of insane that it's like one of the only flashes to the future of all the ones that there are in Power Rangers that is basically confirmed canon now.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, man.
But yeah, if you want more information on what went into the that plot arc in Zeo, you can go back to the charity live stream that I did 2 years back. I know it might take a while to scroll through because obviously I went through everything.
I remember I signed up to help you on that, and I was slept in. So like I 2 year late apology. I am so sorry.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah,
I also showed up and thought I was doing the Bryan Cranston episode, and it was the Arnold Schwarzenegger parody monster.
Well, that's still
right.
fitting for you. That's still fitting.
Enter the Listenator, right?
But
yeah, I had Mark Litton discuss as many of his episodes as I was able to, because he's super nice guy. Was down for joining the stream on so many occasions, basically so long as it was during a time of day that worked in his time zone.
Yeah.
And he worked on so much more of Power Rangers than many people realized. Because he had an alternate pen name that he switched over to around maybe Power Rangers Turbo, I want to say, where he went under the name John Fletcher.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, Mark Litton and John Fletcher are the same person. So he actually wrote for the show from season 1 all the way through Lightspeed Rescue.
Dang.
So he was actually the last remaining writer from season 1 to depart from the show.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
Because he was a writer on the show before Chip or Jackie. Chip may have been working on the show prior to that, in the production side of things. Just he didn't start writing for the show until season 2 with Welcome to Venus Island, and Jackie Martian didn't start writing for the show until season 3 with I want to say it was the Potion Notion. I could be mistaken. I may be misremembering. I know it wasn't until season 3.
I mean, in your defense, there are worse things to misremember. The nuclear launch codes, for example.
Yeah. Which they might be out there somewhere. Recently. Just keep your eyes open next time you're on a golf course. You never know what you might come across.
That's true. That's true.
What's happening? Fact, what is with your recent fascination of nuclear warfare?
I mean, it's a reasonable concern.
I mean, in the 60s, it would have been perfectly normal. I'm just behind the times, is all.
No, you're not behind the times. It is a concern again.
Okay. Because, like,
yeah, we don't want to get
it's less of a concern for our direct involvement, but it is a concern on a global level a serious concern on a global level to a degree that it has not been in probably within our lifetimes.
Okay, because I'm having a very hard time separating the jokes from actual political satire.
Definitely within your lifetimes, probably within my lifetime as well.
Yeah, because I have no idea if it's like people are just making random jokes about nukes, or if it's political satire, or if it's legitimate concerns.
Oh, it started with jokes, and then but you asked, and truth be told, yeah, it is also a serious concern.
You just wouldn't know it if you weren't paying close attention to the news, I felt.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at the news for a bit. I should probably catch up, but maybe later.
That's the thing. After you get into your mid to late 30s, you do start listening to more NPR.
Yeah.
I'll listen to NPR on the way to work some mornings.
Yeah.
It's either that or the local classic rock station.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. I do enough commuting that like it changes up the monotony of the commute.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I'm at least somewhat more informed about what's going on beyond just what I see in social media and comedy shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But getting back to power reviews, let's
Yeah.
let's talk about like some more of the stuff you've got upcoming in the next production chunk, I guess, because you've only got 3 episodes left.
Yes.
And obviously there are only so many episodes left you can do in terms of reviews. So like, would you be willing to give our listeners a little bit of like a hint maybe at like what some of the next reviews are going to be?
I will say that there are 3 episodes left, and a good number of people have accurately guessed some of the content of those final 3 episodes. I don't think that it's a terrible surprise what some of those episodes will be. But I don't think I've seen any accurate guesses for exactly what those final 3 episodes will be. I know that I have talked to you.
Yeah, when I came up in
what's coming up.
February, you told me exactly what was coming.
Yeah, I
up.
told you what was coming up.
And I ain't spilling. There ain't no beans coming out of this area.
I will say that if you want to know what the next episode's going to be, watch the 10-year anniversary special. That's coming out on Thursday.
Nice.
Wait,
I kind of have my own
coming out
for the
on Thursday?
100th episode, but I'm
What
not
was
going to
that?
sing it.
That's coming out on Thursday?
The 10-year anniversary special. Yeah, because Thursday's the anniversary. I gotta get it out.
Okay, Jake, this show comes out Fridays. So everybody go watch it now.
Okay. So this is going to be coming out the day after the special.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that close. Shit.
Yeah, no, it's true. So if you have not yet seen the anniversary special, you should check it out.
Yeah.
Because well, in that case, since this isn't coming out till Friday, I can tell you I am working on an extended preview scene from the finale. I am still editing it. I've been filming it. I've been trying to put it together. I'm trying to see how quickly I can bring it together. So how long that preview scene is going to be dependent upon how much of it I manage to have edited. It's going to be presented within a video format that I've been looking to experiment with for a while, that I think will be a fun, goofy, fairly low-key video style that I think would be a nice breather for me to pursue moving forward, at least into the next year. I am going to be making use of one of the concepts that I know you and I have had conversations about what I've been brainstorming for what I could do with the channel afterwards. I am going to be making use of one of those concepts.
Okay, that's exciting, because I think that's honestly my biggest worry with Power Reviews ending is just like like obviously we're all keenly aware of like you're not as successful as maybe you would want to be or we all think you should be, right. But you have a very unique creative voice that I would be very sad to see leave the YouTube space. So I'm delighted to hear that even though Power Reviews is ending, you will be continuing on YouTube.
For at least this next year, I have. It feels like there's at least a few things that I want to complete that I haven't been able to complete yet. Now, past this next year, I'm not 100% certain, but it felt like I couldn't just walk away just as we were hitting the 30th anniversary. Honestly, I'd been waiting a really long time to see what the announcement was going to be for the 30th anniversary before I really decided what I was going to be doing. It took them way longer to announce it than I was expecting. But I will have an announcement within the anniversary video that will be conveying my plans for the next year.
Okay.
Outside of that, isolated videos maybe, possible series maybe, but I don't really have anything that I am firmly committing to outside of next year.
And I mean, like, with how much this one has gotten away from itself, I don't think anyone is really expecting you to commit to another long-term project.
Yeah, no, that I can tell you right now is straight out. I'm not subjecting myself to another project on the scale of power reviews.
I
Something
mean-
like on the scale of grid defense. I would love to do something like that again someday.
Or like your inside video. If I got one video like your inside video from you a year, I would be fully satisfied with your output.
I really wish that more people had seen that video because I am actually quite proud of that video. I felt like it was a good way of me stretching my wings, and it will be officially 1 year old as of this month because that was the 9-year anniversary video.
Yeah,
I will say I have seen that. It's legitimately amazing. Like one of like legitimately like hits home and just quality stuff.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a very personal video to do, obviously. I did get into a lot of, my personal experiences and my struggles as a YouTuber, as well as just in life in general. But I've been really intrigued by what a lot of people have been doing with the video essay format in recent years. And I wanted to try that out for myself. Just like Power Reviews was me experimenting with the, video reviewer series format and trying to see how I could evolve that format. The inside video was me kind of taking my shot with the video essay format, which I've done to some degree with the conversations in context, but I wanted to try for something that played around a little bit more and went a little bit more in depth with analyzing a specific piece of media. Like I've been watching things by Philosophy Tube really, I felt, pushed the genre forward in many ways. And she was writing off of the success of ContraPoints in many ways. I've always been a big fan of Kyle Kalgren's work, who's evolved from the video reviewer style format into the video essayist format. And he in turn was inspired by Lindsay Ellis, who led to a lot of this. I've also been enjoying works by Maggie Mayfish and a few friends who I know who do video essays, Henry Kathman and Matt Crowley and Emily Clark and Sam Marchione have all been working on doing their own video essays in different topics, and I try to support them. So giving them little shout outs. Henry in particular has actually really come up pretty quick fairly recently. Because I think I checked in on his stream when he hit 3,000, and now he's just blown past and doubled that and gone way past me. And yeah, it's interesting watching the different things that the algorithm will latch onto. Who else have I been watching who's been good? Super Eye Patch Wolf. I've started watching more of his work.
Yeah.
His Garfield video is just such a ride.
Oh man, I love it because he also adds just incredible shit posts to all of it. Like the Space Jam fucking video.
I still need
legitimately
there's still a lot of his work I haven't seen yet. But I
legitimately Eye Patch Wolf is my kind of end goal as a content creator in terms of the variety of content and the style I want to put out there.
Yeah.
So
I liked a lot of the people that you mentioned. I was just letting you say their names. But a lot of the content creators that I've been inspired by lately is just fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Like Civi11. He's a guy who reviews boomer shooters, old school style first person shooter games.
Yeah.
But it's all framed in the idea that he is an underground prison being held captive by the American government, and there's a radioactive rat that talks in MAGA talking points, and you just hate him, and that's the joke.
That sounds interesting. I'm not big into gaming, but that still sounds like something. But I do find a lot of aspects of game design fascinating. It was almost a minor of mine, actually.
But there's and like you said, Super Eye Patch Wolf. A lot of, and that's just because I like gaming. So a lot of the ones I like are on the gaming side, H Bomber Guy.
Oh yeah, H Bomber Guy. I knew I was forgetting somebody. He's done great work. It's now become an event whenever his next video comes out because he always puts so much work into those. I still can't believe I want to say one of his most recent videos was a 3-hour long video on how like the sequel to Deus Ex was okay,
It's a prequel.
or the prequel to Deus Ex. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of amusing that you would spend that long. Not saying this is amazing, not saying that's awful, just saying this is okay.
Okay, if you're vaguely interested in video games, there's a guy called I can't remember his name, but he does a series called Action Button.
Okay.
And it's Tim Rogers, yeah. He did a 4-hour video about Doom. He did a 5-hour video about Pac-Man.
That sounds like a commitment.
And he made a 6-hour video about an obscure Japanese franchise that is basically made to simulate summer vacation.
Oh man, I feel like anyone doing a 6-hour video, I need to watch their shorter stuff first before I can feel like I can jump into that. Because
I'm just more saying like he's a guy who goes very in depth on trying to explain what he's talking about.
All the guys you guys have been mentioning are really good, but lately I've just been really into some smaller YouTubers who I feel are doing really good work. Like there's this guy who did a cool video on the Marvel Comics sliding time scale. His name's Boingo Rider.
Fuck you.
Then there's another kid who's been working their way through all of Heisei Kamen Rider called Buster Corp, and a guy who just makes these really cool like little fan film Power Ranger reviews called Database Ranger. I like all those guys. Those are my favorites.
I do feel bad that I don't check out enough of the work that you guys do.
I've put out 2 videos this year, and one of them you were in.
Okay, that's fair. I should probably watch that video if I was in it. No, I think I saw it.
More realistically, at this point in time, I'm more of a Twitch streamer than anything.
That is true.
And I'm just kind of like creating whatever. Like I started like a novel OC book recently, so.
But yeah, actually, in terms of what I tend to watch, oddly, like I do like a lot of media analysis that I find interesting. But one thing that I have definitely gotten into watching a lot of leftist YouTubers in recent years. Some more news I think is great. It's like it's basically he at this point Cody Johnston is basically the American John Oliver as far as I'm concerned. In terms of him going into super deep dives on systemic issues in the United States, while still being ridiculous all throughout it. Like I don't know if you guys have seen some more news or not.
I've tried watching it. It like I always end up clicking off about halfway through because it's just so much not negative, but like unfortunate information about the world that it's too much to take in one sitting.
I can understand. It can be a lot.
I go through phases. Like I'll watch a variety of content creators and that, and then it's just like I am burnt out on that. I need junk food.
That is fair. Like if you want a lighter episode of some more news, you could watch their episodes on boars.
Like in a similar example, Philosophy Tube is that way for me. It's like I'll watch her content like for a while. I'm actually
almost 6 months behind on Philosophy Tube for that reason.
Yeah, I'm a little behind myself. Mostly because I usually tend to watch them with MJ, and it's just a matter of having time to sit down and watch a whole
40-minute short film.
I mean,
it's a commitment.
The only YouTubers I'm really ever current with are like geek news channels I follow, and I count like wrestling news channels in on that.
Yeah.
You guys, and then Few Adams. Yeah. It's like I can't really keep up with anyone else. I'll watch. I'm like at least 4 months behind on everyone else.
That is fair.
I've also
been following. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
I've also been following Thought Slime, who I'm sure you guys have seen as well.
Mm-hmm. I've seen them
because they tend to do a lot of interesting topics in comedic ways. And Radical Reviewer I also enjoy just because he really goes into a lot of interesting leftist theory by basically reviewing books that I know I would not otherwise have time to read. But it's all presented as his dog is the host of the series. So it's all just a voiceover of his dog. And I'm just like, hearing about leftist theory from just a very good doggo just like makes it far more like, it's so much less dry when it's being delivered to you by a cute dog. And also his review of Atlas Shrugged was amazing because the dog wore different costumes for every character, and it was fantastic.
I mean, I just got caught back up with folding ideas because, like, he made that.
Dan Olsen.
Oh yeah, Dan put out a new video, didn't he? I gotta watch that.
That one's good. It's all about hustle culture and the con and that. But like because I knew I wanted to watch it eventually, but again, I was just in a cycle of like, nope, brain can't handle. I just recently watched Line Goes Up, the NFT video.
Yeah, that one's a big one.
That could almost, like, for the internet discourse at least, be single-handedly responsible for like the downfall of NFTs.
Yeah.
No, just like thinking about it, like my videos that I watch a lot are like fucking weird. Like there's a couple Norwegian, I think they are, people who basically make satire videos on how to make obscure genres of metal. And it's just jokes about like, here's how you make doom metal, inside jokes for the community, and it's just like, it's fun. The music is interesting, and there's another guy I just watched his new video today called Aged Wheels, and he's a car reviewer. Like, he reviews cars, but like he loves old shitty dumb shit cars. Like he
recently got caught up on regular cars. I just remembered that.
Yeah, he was on regular, but like one of his favorite cars that he likes to work on and show off in the videos is a car from East Germany that was produced a Trabant, and it's a piece of shit, but he loves it.
Of course, yeah. I know that I hunted down, for me, it was I decided I wanted a 2008 station wagon, bought in 2018. Still stand by that purchase, even as I need to keep doing work on it.
And meanwhile, I'm still driving my first car, which was my mom came home one day while I was still getting driving lessons and said, "Hey, the mechanic has a good car for a good price. We're gonna go buy it this weekend."
Oh, there you go.
I've only had a few problems with it since. Like, I just had to get it realigned and put new tires on it. But like, that's average stuff. But I can feel the conversation winding down, and we are starting to come up on time. So, Jake, is there anything else you want to kind of talk about and promote, really, with the 10th anniversary happening and with the future of your career online?
Well, obviously, my big focus has been trying to get the finale together. I am going to be taking a break for the next few weeks to focus on volunteering for the midterm elections. I'm going to be doing a lot of phone banking, things like that. So I'm really trying to do that big push so that people can get a taste of what's coming before I go on that break. I can't take a break during the anniversary itself. After so long of doing this, I couldn't bring myself not to still release something on that day. I am so hoping that you all won't have to wait much longer is really the big thing for me. I know that the year 2 finale took very, very long to release. And I don't want that to happen again. So I've been filming consistently every week, if not every day, trying to get this together. I can tell you that I spent the other day, like, as I was leaving work and we were all, going off to our 3-day weekends, I was saying, like, okay, time for me to go home, toss on some cardboard armor, and slam myself into the floor repeatedly. I'm exhausted because last night I had to get clotheslined to buy a 7-foot-tall super demon. Like, these are just the things that I just drop casually at work.
Hey, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
So I can tell you that I have not if you've enjoyed the fight scenes in Power Reviews, some of the stuff that's coming up is beyond anything that I've attempted before. There is a sequence that I am working on that is 50 shots long of a continual action sequence, and it has just been a beast to get through. And I'm still working on the actual climactic sequence of the episode, and there's still so much more that I still need to do. But I'll say beyond that would be if you enjoyed episodes like 95, 96, imagine the complexity of 95 and 96 smashed together and then ramped up is what you can expect coming up for the next episode. So I hope that fills you with excitement. I hope that you're looking forward to seeing the characters face sort of their ultimate challenges and seeing the final lingering questions be answered. You know, what has the landlord been planning all this time? How will everybody make it through? You know, who's going to survive what? And, you know, how did Dr. K ever end up in this weird fanboy's apartment? All those questions and more are going to be answered in these upcoming 3 episodes. And I really hope that everybody is happy with how the characters end up and the resolutions for their arcs, and find them fitting given the journeys that they've been on. It's going to be a huge relief for me for it to finally be done. But I'm just want so badly to deliver for everyone who's stuck with me through this insane project that I've dedicated nearly a quarter of my life to at this point. Really more than 30% of my life. I'm tired and old.
Oh, jeez.
That I've been working on since 2012. That I've been brainstorming since probably before then. Getting to do sequences that I came up with as a kid and finally being able to integrate them into a story that I'm actually producing. All those levels are going to be a part of the final product of Power Reviews. And I'm hoping you also like the analyses. Yeah, it's also still a review show.
Yeah.
Obviously the analysis has very much, outside of occasional episodes like 97, fallen into the background in many regards because the story is so prominent. But I hope you enjoy the integrations of the story and how I choose to frame these final 3 episodes. So those are all sort of my hopes moving forward. And I hope you all also enjoy and have fun with the 10-year anniversary video, which should be out by the time people are listening to this.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've been following Power Reviews since the early Megaforce days when we met on the Morphin Legacy Tiny Chats. And I'm looking forward to see the story finally finished out and get some the last little tastes of your insights into the franchise. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a very exciting time. But where can our listeners who maybe have or haven't heard of the project before find that and find you out on the internet?
You can find me by searching for Database Ranger. I am, to my knowledge, the only Database Ranger on the internet. You can find me on Twitter. You can find my channel on YouTube. You can also find pages for Database Rangers Power Reviews and DR Productions on Facebook. We have a Patreon that is deeply in need of updating because I am terrible keeping up with rewards, and I apologize for that. But if you do wish to contribute to the show, you can also go to our Patreon. Links are available in each of our videos. So those are all different ways that you can find me. I also have a house now. Please don't try to find me there. That is not an acceptable way to try to find me. And one last little tease I will give you guys is, and this is not so much a tease, but an idea of how close we are to the end of things. Provided that the weather is permitting, and MJ and I are both feeling well. This weekend, we're planning to hopefully, knock on wood, although there'll be more to work on after this, chronologically, we are hoping to film what will be the actual final shots of the series this weekend.
Oh, dang. Wow.
Like, we obviously I still have to shoot a bunch of stuff, of other stuff from this episode, but the actual ending, like, final scene of the series, we're hoping to shoot this weekend.
Nice.
So
well,
fingers crossed, weather permitting, health permitting, that we're not both dead. But that is part of the plan.
Well, yeah, everybody listening, if you haven't already, go check out Jake's stuff. Watch through all of Power Reviews. It's well worth your time, trust me. And I would very much like to have Jake back on here to do full spoiler Q&A once the show has wrapped. So you'll want to do your research for that, listeners. Yeah. But until then, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Modular Components. So everybody, please be sure to do all the YouTube things, like this video, comment down below, subscribe, ring the bell in order to enable notifications to get every episode of this show, as well as the other shows we do here at Modular Media, This Week in Tokusatsu or Twit, where myself and Buster discuss everything and anything from the wild world of Japanese live-action special effects, and the No Prize podcast, where me and Boingo talk about all the latest stuff from the MCU and the general world of comics. But fellas, Boingo, where can people find you on the internet should they want you to?
You forgot the order of things, didn't you?
A little bit.
Hey, do you want to see a variety of Twitch streams where I am a robot and I try to be funny? Twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. Do you want to see a variety of social media such as Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram? Boingo_writer. Definitely go follow my Twitter, because I got shit scheduled up till March of next year. It's going to get even more hectic. Just you wait. And if you would like to see a variety of video essays and video editorial type content, look for Boingo Writer on YouTube. Bang bang, I just made a video with the help of Buster here about what I would like to see for the first wave of DLC for Street Fighter 6.
Hey Buster, where can people find your content on the internet?
Buster's muted.
Did Buster die?
I don't know if Buster's dead.
No, Buster's back.
I was literally on a car ride on the middle. Long story, I'll explain it off recording. Hi, I'm Buster Corp. I do the YouTube analysis thing on the Buster Corp YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitter, posting about original stories I write and just vibing, the media thoughts, random jokes. I'm kind of just living. I'm kind of like a bum, just going wherever I want. So yeah, just check me out on the things and the links, and yeah, sorry, I ran a marathon basically, or the sitting equivalent of running a marathon.
All right. Well, I am the Vacuuminator. I make video essays on Tokusatsu. You can find me at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. My situation that was causing videos to be delayed even further than they already had been is in the process of being resolved. So hopefully I'll be able to get 1 or 2 more videos out before the end of the year. And in the meantime, connect with me on social media at the Vacuuminator on Twitter, and follow me on Instagram at _Vacuuminator to see my daily action figure photography posts. But folks, that's going to do it for this installment of Modular Components. Thank you again to Jacob for coming out and being on the show. And
glad to be here.
Yeah, and thanks.
And since I already went through my social media stuff, I will also say, if you have an opportunity, donate to spread the vote. I'm going to be doing likewise. Please volunteer for the midterm elections. Do your part. There's some really important voting legislation that is contingent upon how people perform in the midterms. And I'd like to make sure that everyone's voices can be heard moving forward. Figured I should do a plug for, like, democracy.
Yeah, no, totally fair, man.
So yay, do more democracy, that, please.
But folks,
sorry to interrupt, continue.
That's gonna do it. Thanks to all the listeners for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
Farewell. and let the power protect you.